Pigeon Ford.
Forge. Like forged in fire.
Oh, okay.
I can
Oh,
hear
we
you,
can hear
yes.
you. You couldn't hear us. There it is. Ah. Who's Camden? Oh. That's what happened when you take 2 weeks off.
Krinlee, are you here yet?
Got an error with his camera. I've never seen that on the phone.
And he can't even hear us either. Eject him from the call. Eject him from the room so he knows he has to get back in. The poop. But you can see Sensei's video, right? Okay. I can't see Sensei, so that's why.
Yeah. What is up, guys?
Are you on your phone, Sensei?
No.
Okay.
Definitely not.
Again, I can't see, so I don't know.
Yeah, evidently you ain't recognized the room either. We've been doing this shit, but I don't know. I text him. Yeah, you're live. You good? You're good. Yeah. Yeah, we're fine.
Yeah.
No, I got to turn down. Let's see. But yeah, I got the beat. Yeah, I got the beat. Yeah, man. Get all these motherfuckers on the stream and then you know, what happens? It's okay though.
Yeah, no. So kind of a shout out to Camden. This kid literally has been listening to our podcast all week.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
on like episode after episode after episode. At least while he's been at work. So
that's cool. Shout out to you, man.
his boss is letting him do it. No idea.
Hope you don't want. Oh shit. Okay.
You know, one thing that I did notice though, Sean, in the episode that he was watching or listening to, do you have your Discord notification sounds turned off? I don't know. There were some kind of notifications, at least in those early episodes, early episodes, that I'm sitting here. I'm like, oh, that's getting annoying. Okay. Oh.
He said he don't see the server.
No, he doesn't see your server.
We're still on it.
Oh.
Yeah, all the way.
That's a low blow.
Yeah.
Is he back in now? From the voice chat. Oh, you know what? It's been such a storm out here. Might as well just kind of carry it over.
Yeah, what you got going on out there? I saw that map that you showed us. That was
Boy,
a pretty cool map.
but
It was very detailed.
oh yeah. So that's Mega. I follow a storm reporter who, if there's going to be like a huge tornado outbreak and all that, he'll stream the entire time of these storms. So yesterday he was on for 11 hours. Must be. That's got to be a setting in your settings. That's. Oh, yeah, in your Discord settings. His name's Ryan Hall, the storm reporter, and that's what he uses is Radar Omega, and he can actually predict. He can give out notices of a tornado forming with some of his other.
You got the free app?
I think I paid for it,
Okay.
but I don't have a subscription.
It's a one-time payment of $8.99.
Yeah, I got that, and it's worth it, especially when you're in my area. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see the hooks on these storms that are showing that there's going to be a tornado, right? Because what's kind of scary is last night we had a tornado warning, and sirens go off and all of that. I grab everybody, get into our hallway, and.
Are we live? Oh, you restarted the whole thing. Okay. Yeah, sorry, New York. Say again.
So, we were in shelter for 15 minutes before like the Apple weather notification. There's a tornado warning. Like Apple was 16 minutes late on a tornado warning from my area. And Ryan Hall.
Okay.
Right, so I actually had Omega open and I had his YouTube channel playing at the same time. I didn't sleep but 2 hours last night just watching the storms, and I let my wife sleep and my daughter sleep until they needed to come out to the hallway type deal.
Yeah.
But
glad you got. Now you guys are at Mom's house?
We're at Mom's house right now because we had my grandmother's memorial this morning, and before it even started, we got hit with a bad storm, knocked power out in the entire region, and so I actually think tornado came through there. Obviously, I was at the location, so I didn't have my phone open or anything, but yeah, no power, and they're not expected to have it back on. They're estimating at 10 p.m. tomorrow night.
Yeah.
From my house, yeah.
So what are you guys doing with the food?
We haven't touched our refrigerator or freezers. Don't open it, you're not going to have a problem.
Oh, I was going to say, you ain't got no generator to just keep it going?
Nope. That costs quite a bit of money.
A generator?
No. It should just be. It should just be like give him like one of your full admin permissions. Like give him a role like potentially equal to yours, and he should just be able to jump right in. Right? Click his name. Roles.
Yeah, you keep freezing a little bit.
Who, me?
No, you're fine. Yours is
okay.
Perfect. You got 1 minute.
There we go.
Is. There he is. Back in the building.
Can you say something, Krinlee?
Here he comes.
What was that?
There it is.
Yeah, it's just my signal's garbage. As long as y'all can hear me, I can hear you guys.
Yep. Who says that? Good evening. How y'all doing tonight?
I need a gong. Boom. What's up with it?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. It's been hanging in there.
All right.
Actually, Thursdays, I'm gonna start doing open mic night. There's a delay, I believe.
You're gonna start with open mic night.
I'm gonna start open mic nights on Thursdays, 9 p.m. Eastern.
All right.
Tennessee.
Yeah, you've got a major delay, my guy.
Mm-hmm.
You back?
I'm gonna see if I can fix that.
So, I had someone come to me who is expecting. Him and his wife are expecting their first child, right? And married for a year, right? So, kind of one of those. They're still fresh on things themselves, and now they've got uh, the on through. They got a kid coming on the way, and his question to us is, how did we handle pregnancy with our wives while still being a good husband, but minimizing being in trouble as best as possible? Or come on, let's be real about it. Like, how do we handle them hormones?
Okay. All right. Yep.
I'll just do my normal shout out to Chiron 79. You know, doing his thing. but TikToks, um, Haney family photography.
All right.
I actually got a couple. Again, we're kind of storm torn out here in the Midwest right now. It's been a rough couple days. So the first person I want to actually shout out is the storm watcher that I watch, Ryan Hall. If I have any listeners who are in Tornado Alley that are impacted by tornadoes, if you're not watching Ryan Hall when these storms are coming through, you're making a mistake. Okay, he's got scientists and stuff there who are actually predicting storms faster than NOAA is putting out alerts. Okay, um, so awesome guy. He actually helped us get the shelter before tornado warning went off for us last night. The next thing is going to be for all the rescue personnel, for all the emergency first responders here in Arkansas, as well as in southeast Missouri. I know all of us are underwater right now as well, so not only we get tornadoes, we're all flooded. So shout out to all them.
Let me see. You know who I got to shout out? Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, who's the head of my life. Shout out to you fellas being on here, taking the time. I know you guys New York going through relocation right now. So appreciate that, taking your time being here. And just shout out to all the people that's out there listening. Hopefully we can give Camden some good advice today. Shout out to him.
If I'm not mistaken, I think his wife may be watching as well with him.
Oh,
so
shout out to her then. We're gonna give him some good advice then.
I said we're still going to be. No. Ah!
Well, that happened.
All right.
Hello. I told him that we're not going to give any different kind of information or advice if she was listening or not. So,
okay. Camden, can you hear me now?
Oh, he said he couldn't hear him?
Yeah, he said he couldn't hear me. He said he couldn't hear
okay.
me.
Yeah, we always had that problem. You be a little low, bro.
I think my mic was muted for the show, so we'll see. We'll see how that turned out. We didn't give any good advice
Hey, thanks.
yet. Yeah, but yeah, thank you, Camden. Hopefully you can hear me now. So and I know we're kind of jumpy. We got good stream quality, but I'm just talking to see if he gets back to us and says he can hear me. Okay.
Camden, are you able to hear?
Okay. Well, I could see where it was muted, so we should be okay. All right.
Cool.
So let's talk about it. How do we handle those hormones during pregnancy?
Cool.
Okay. Cool. He said, "Yes, I can." I'm sorry. No, you're good. We appreciate you.
So I guess the first question that I was kind of sitting here trying to think about. Okay, well, how do we answer these questions without just jumping right into all the advice? I guess my question is y'all's pregnancy experience. Like pick for the three of you, pick one of your pregnancy experiences, and kind of tell us about that. I've only got the one, so we'll go with that.
Who wants to go first? I mean, mine's a little different. It might not be.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'll get started. So either, the first one was an oopsie. So I was very young, so that wasn't necessarily what. But the kids that I have now, with my wife, we did 4 years in infertility. So our journey is real different than potentially your guys' journey. So yeah. So there was a little bit more that I had to do. I mean,
at least after like conception to birth.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, even so, because we're talking about emotions and hormones and things like that. So I felt, I dealt with a whole lot more. And then, of course, like I said, I got some advice. I got some, nice little topics or whatever to talk about. But mine, again, when you're dealing with hormones, like I said, we had we had 4 years of infertility. We were trying to have a baby. We got pregnant. We had a miscarriage, and then we had our rainbow baby. And then so it was up and down. I mean, but the hormones of the loss and things like that. It's something like I said. I got a bunch of good things to kind of talk about. I just want to kind of throw that out there. That it's more than just one story when it comes to this. But if you guys want to share your guys's, like mine's more of a roller coaster than it is anything else. So yeah, I'll end right there. What do you guys got?
Yeah, your internet is
I
going in and
don't
out.
want to go just yet.
Okay, I'll go. My story the first one, young. Her and I lived, in separate cities until like I don't know 3 or 4 months of her being pregnant, and then she came and lived here, but we weren't like living together or anything. So, I could talk about my experience with my wife was.
Yeah.
My wife was different though. See, my wife's like she's like like she has her emotions under control as a person anyway. So when she became pregnant, it was she did become a little bit more emotional. But the best advice I could give you, Camden, is always be mindful that your wife is carrying a baby that she has no control over at the moment. She is the baby is I wouldn't say controlling her, but she has no like control over her emotions or what is happening to her body. What's happening to her body is what's supposed to happen to her body, and as her husband, you're supposed to be empathetic to everything that is going on with her.
You're rushing ahead, Sensei.
Okay, what do you want me to? I mean,
your experience.
okay,
Like, was it
all right.
how was her morning sickness throughout the pregnancy?
My wife didn't have morning sickness.
Okay, so some people don't.
Yeah,
right?
my wife, yeah, she didn't have morning sickness with the first one, and she is my wife worked all the way up until she was 9 months pregnant. Yeah, 9
Okay.
months pregnant. Pregnancy, she walked a lot. She did a lot of research to see what would make her pregnancy go easier. My experience with her was pleasant. It was
Okay.
it was very pleasant. There was nothing to where I had to do more than anything else that I needed to do.
Right.
She wasn't a person that went to the hospital for any time during her pregnancies. She basically was a trooper. My first
Heck
one
yeah.
was like that. It was just different because I wasn't around the whole time.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Sean, did you guys experience the morning sickness, the real bad movement of the baby that would cause the uncomfortableness, or the food cravings, the any of those things that you read about, you hear about the scary stories of being a man going through
No, you know
with your
what?
wife in pregnancy?
No, you know what? Through the whole pregnancy thing, no, the first one was great. Again, very pleasant. And again, we'll get into educating yourself and things what to expect, things to do during, and all these things or whatever. But the first one was so good that we had the second one, and then the second one was not. And so don't let the first one that's good fool you. The second one, that's when it came. That's when the cravings came, the crankiness. things like that. So the first one was fine. The second one, my daughter, she was a little beast. So and that came out in my wife as well. So not the sickness per se, but the cramps, the uncomfortability, the irritability, all those things for sure. And then they say that when you have girls, um, that girls actually are worse on the wife than boys are. So I had a boy first, and it was fine, and then I had a daughter second, and yeah, it was all bad, but in a good way.
All right,
Right.
Krinlee, you want to give us your experience with one or both of your kids during the pregnancy?
I mean, both of mine were fantastic. Like, my wife, she didn't really have any sicknesses. She had some cravings, but nothing wild. Um, yeah, she didn't. I mean, she wasn't any more moody than normal. So I mean, and this was with both of them. Like, it was great. Second baby, like she worked up until like a week before
Yeah.
giving birth.
Okay.
So yeah, but I mean, it was great.
Yeah, this one's gonna
Awesome.
be a hard one, guys.
The day before she was fixing to leave.
What?
No, go ahead. You guys.
What was that?
I'm just explaining because they could see me just fine, but you guys keep jumping all over the place. So I was just saying this one's going to be a difficult episode because there's a lot of jerkiness going on. But but go ahead, go with your traffic.
So my wife found out she was pregnant the day before she was to leave on an all women's, all inclusive trip to Turks and Caicos.
Hmm.
So she was getting ready to like go out, party, drink, have a bunch of fun, live that girls' night for an entire week. And she pulled out the strip, and then she was livid. Absolutely livid. So that was like the first thing. Like, don't get me wrong, we were excited that we were pregnant. She actually gave it to me as a birthday gift. We found out 2 days after my birthday. But it was the fact of like, hey, hell yeah, but now? Really?
Yep.
We did deal with the morning sickness a lot, and unfortunately, my wife's morning sickness, it wasn't just for the first trimester. It did last close to the full 3 trimesters, which I that was rough to handle. We did have a couple of times where we had to go to the hospital, get checked out, and the reassurances from them there in the hospital are awesome. And then my wife was actually induced. She went a week past her due date, and had to be induced on Thanksgiving Day. So
Oh wow.
yeah, my daughter was born on Black Friday.
Hmm.
So that was my experience. Now let's I'm gonna put out the question now, right? What kinds of things did you guys do to help prepare yourselves during the pregnancy? I'm not even looking at how you guys helped your wife specifically, right? Let's look at how you guys tackled self-education and or what you did to help on your own. Uh, Anyone who wants to start it off?
Like I
Huh?
said, I'll start off.
What?
We actually went to prenatal classes. And obviously, if you know anything, and then Camden, if you don't know, go get that book, What to Expect When Expecting. It's a decent read, not too hard to follow or whatever. But we did go to prenatal classes, and it kind of gave us, through our medical insurance or whatever, they provided that through the hospital to let us know what was going on. Do as much research as far as and this is the hard part, trying to understand where she's at in her pregnancy and how it affects her is not going to be something you can prepare yourself for. At that point, you have to learn how to just ride the wave. Like, that's going to be part of the learning process and educating yourself in that. But reading the books, the other things you can do as a dad and to kind of keep that dad thing going is doing the research on things that she may need post, like the car seats and the cribs, and so that'll help with the journey going along. And if you're interested in those types of things, you'll be able to uh kind of still be interested, but helping along with the journey. So that's what I did. Like what kind of crib, what kind of what's that thing called? Like I'm calling it a wheelchair in my head, but it's not called the stroller. I'm calling it a wheelchair.
Stroller.
Yeah, what kind of stroller, the car seat, stuff like
Breako.
yeah, and then with that, don't get so caught up now, because I know when I had my first son, things were different. When I had my second son, things were way different. They have gadgets for everything. Things are so cool. Don't go overboard with spending stuff on, but doing the research, getting ready for it. That's what I did. And then we went to prenatal classes. So
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Sensei.
Same prenatal classes. Definitely get the apps that show you what your baby look like, show you what it's supposed to how it's supposed to be developing. Share those apps and sit down with each other and look at those apps and have laughs and understand how your baby's supposed to, what your baby's going through inside, and then it'll help you connect with your wife and help you guys spend some time together, because this is the last time you guys are going to spend some time together. Alone.
No, you'll be alone.
Alone. -1, because +1 is on its way. You feel me? Let me see. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
If you let me see, what else did we do? What else did I do?
Yes.
Make sure you get yourself prepared for your bags, get yourself prepared if you need some FMLA, to take that time off or your family medical leave. Get all that in order. I made sure that I started doing more house chores, cleaning up more things, getting myself prepared, because I knew this is one thing that I was going to have to endure or do to be able to help my wife. So be helpful. That's one of the things that I did was be helpful around the house. And she's gonna have mom brain and she's gonna forget. So you got to write the stuff down and make sure you remember. That's one of the things I had to really learn. And that one really was my second pregnancy with my wife. My first one, I didn't do that one, but that will really help her. It'll help you, which in turn helps her. If you get my drift. Yeah. All right, I'm done.
All right. Yeah, this whole not being able to see faces. I can't see the cues, the body language cues of if they're going or not. All right, Krinlee, what about you? What did you do to self-prepare or educate to assist with things?
So he looks like he's like in an elevator, so he might be in a really bad coverage area.
Okay.
So
I'm trying to. I'm sorry. Trying to see. I think the Wi-Fi is better here, but it's not connected.
We can hear you.
Okay.
yeah,
Ooh,
so we're
his
asking
face
like,
is
what'd you do to get ready?
You, not you and your wife. What did
Yeah,
you do?
What did you do?
Give me 1 second. Can I keep him here? No.
I'll go ahead and go. Well, Krinlee's
Yeah.
figuring out what's going on. I didn't do anything. I'm gonna be honest with you. I got on the babies list app, right? Where that's kind of where you can register everywhere, but they also station every week about like, hey, this is how big your baby is. This is what is going on. Actually, I take that back. There was one book. I got a bunch of different books from people, but there was only one book that I really liked, and it was written by a dad, and it was not too over the top as far as medical jargon. It was really down to earth. This guy was like, I've read all the books and I hated them. I always put them down like 5 pages in, so that's why I decided to create this book. And it was awesome. This is where your baby's at. This is what your wife is probably feeling. This is what you probably need to start helping out with around the house. This is you need to start figuring out your financials around this time. You need to start figuring out, oh, hey, around this time, the doctor's office is going to usually ask for like a down payment of something, or those kinds of things. And this book was really awesome. I loved it. I actually gave it to Camden
So that's the
to
book.
borrow.
Yeah, he said you let him borrow a book that he's reading. So
Yes, that's the book that I let him borrow. Beyond that, I didn't really do anything else except for I made sure to be, if I wasn't able to physically be at a doctor's appointment, I was there via cell phone. So I made a big decision to be at every appointment. Hear things from the doctor themselves, because Sensei brought that up, that mom brain. That's something that you guys haven't experienced yet, probably, but there's a fog and it's confusion. That mom brain, she forgets things. She'll sit here, she'll say, hey, I want to ask this question to the doctor. I want to ask this question to the doctor. But then she'll get in front of the doctor and she doesn't ask it.
Your job to write it down.
Yeah, you write it down, right? That way you can ask those questions to the doctor. You'll be thankful for the kisses you get afterwards. I promise you. Let's see, what else did I do?
I have you dress for success, baby.
Right. I made sure that the nursery was ready weeks before the due date, even. Okay, that way, kind of coasting into the end. That way, there wasn't a lot of this last minute planning that needed to be done. She can just focus on the alien inside of her belly, right? And then having her go bags ready. Sensei said that too, but that is highly important. So that's kind of what I did.
Yeah, and those are the things that, like, we don't know what she's going through, but we know we can do things, and being organized and helping with all those things you guys had just talked about, that's like a big thing. And it's not that far out of our wheelhouse. Like, we want to do those types of things where we feel some type of progress or some type of contribution is happening while her body is doing all the work. We still can do those types of things and still contribute to the journey. So
use your common sense. If it may have, for real, because you're going to have to use it, when she's sleeping. Don't wake her up just to answer a question. Use your common sense. That's the best advice there. Let her get her rest.
Njord, did you have another line of questioning good to go?
No, it was just asking if Krinlee was ready to kind of tell what he did.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I was a lot like you. I didn't do a whole lot. We did the book, what to expect and you're expecting. And that was awesome. But I mean, other than that, I just did what I had to do to help her feel comfortable.
Heck yeah. All right. Let's get into the one that if his wife is actually sitting here watching, might get us into some trouble. But how did you guys deal with the emotions? Okay, the ups, the downs, the lashing out at you for what you think is no reason. Again, I did say what you think is no reason. How did you handle the fear as well, right? Because that was another one that comes at it at times when the body all of a sudden starts doing something she doesn't think it should be doing. So how did y'all handle the wide scope of emotions, Sean?
The number one advice I could tell you about that is, don't take it personal, right? They say don't take
That's
it
the
personal.
biggest one.
Take it serious though. So don't take it personal. Take it seriously. Hormones are wild, so you don't know what you're gonna get. Emotions will swing. You know, she's not just being dramatic, right? She's pregnant. So keep that in mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't take it like it's a personal attack on you, but do take what is happening seriously. Just listen to her, support her, But one thing you for sure, because that goes against everything that a dad is don't try to fix everything, right? The main thing that we want to do as dads is like we want to fix shit, right? You don't have to do that when it comes to the emotions, right? Because they are a wild thing. They could swing left and right and things like that. Just be there for her, support her when she's having these outbursts. I'm not going to say, being dramatic or whatever, but the hormones are wild. The hormones are there. Don't take what she says to you as a personal attack to you, but do understand what she's going through. Listen to her, support her, and again, you don't have to always find a fix for it. But that's why I brought up, and the gentleman brought up as well, the things we can fix. Let's fix those. Let's get the go bag. Let's put the crib together. Let's put the nursery together. Those are the things we can fix. Hormones, we can't. Just ride the wave. That's my advice on that.
Beautiful. Well said. Sensei, what do you got?
Empathy. Be empathetic always, even after the pregnancy, because there's a wave after that one too. So you got to always be empathetic to your wife and to your children, because they reflect you. Your household reflects you. So whatever you put into it, it's gonna come back out and show its beautiful or ugly head. So make sure you keep everything in line as a man. Do your part. Continue to always support her in everything that she's doing for the family. She is the best thing on earth. They always says is a woman giving birth to her husband. It's the most beautiful thing here on earth. So cherish that moment, cherish those times that, like I said, that you have, that you guys have together only, because when that baby comes, it's not. Most people would say it's all hell break loose. It's a bunch of joy, until the baby realizes, oh, I can do this. Oh, I can do that. So
Liar.
just continuously. Just continuously be there, be present. Put your phone down, take time. I know you be at work or whatever, but it's time to be at home. Be at home. Put your phone down. I don't know if you play video games, but those gonna have to stop too until you can find some time where everybody is asleep. But be present. That's one of the things I had to really like. My first pregnancy with my wife, I really had to get, and I got it, but it was one of those things where it's time to put the phone down. It's time to be present. Time to, if you cook, go ahead and cook her a meal. Give her what she want. That's your wife. It's the person that's gonna be with you for the rest of your life. So make sure she's happy and you'll be happy. Trust me.
Yep.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right, Krinlee.
I want to kind of double back on what Sean was saying. Like, you can't fix everything. But also, what Sensei was saying too about empathy. It's like, yeah, you want to have empathy, but I want to say you don't want to have too much empathy. Because you can,
Don't be disingenuous.
I really don't know how to explain it. Yeah. That's a good way to put it, yeah. But you can't cater to every little thing. You're going to mess up. You're going to do something that upsets her. But you just have to move on. Because you could do that same thing again a week later and it doesn't bother, or I mean, it's not
That's
going to be
good.
consistent.
I like that.
Like, yeah, because like you said, their emotions are bonkers, right? So they might love something right now, and then 20 minutes from now, want nothing to do with it. I mean, it's going to happen. And
Yeah.
so, but I was already used to all that, so I was good.
I left one point out, and I know it's your turn. If you're romantic now, be romantic while she's pregnant too. Give her that
I'm gonna
romance
say
that she
that there's
likes.
nothing sexier than a woman who's carrying your baby.
Yeah.
Right.
Come on now.
I mean, we're all dads here, right? Like, for
Yeah.
real.
That's real.
So I got in trouble a lot, because at first I didn't have a servant mentality. Okay. I had this. I got to fix everything. This is. I know what needs to be done. Da, 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 all
Right.
that, and that's. Guess what? That doesn't work very well. Listening to all them, you need to have a servant mentality. Okay. Yes, you're still the man of the house. Yes, you're still the husband. Yes, you're still going to be the father, right? And you have to take on those roles and you have to do what it is. But right now, it's her time to shine. It's her time to do her work, and you're there to serve her during this time. Okay. Once the baby's born, you guys serve your child. Quite honestly, that's where now both of y'all have switched servant mentality to your kid. Um, One of the things that I also learned while dealing with said emotions, going back to what Sean said, is you're not going to be able to fix everything. I learned to ask 3 questions when my wife would get upset or she wanted to come at me and talk to me about things. Um, I would ask her, "Want me to listen and not say anything? Do you want me to listen and give you my opinion? Or do you want me to listen and just agree with everything you say?" Okay.
Tell you what
Because
you want to hear.
sometimes they just want you to say, "Yes, I agree." Okay, whether you do or not, right then in the moment, they just want you to agree with them. Okay, that Becky was a bitch today. Okay, um, am I wrong,
Well,
fella?
is she
Am
really
I
a
wrong?
bitch?
Okay, so learn to ask those questions, right? Okay, hey, I'm here to serve you and help you. How can I do that best right now? Do you want me to give you my advice? Do you want me to just listen? Do you want me to agree with you? You tell me and I'll do it. Okay. And that puts the ball in her court. Gives her the ability to tell you, hey, this is what I'm needing. Okay. Because as men, I'm going to tell you right now, we are not nurturing individuals. That's not how we were built. We don't have that mother mentality. Right. So we don't see those things. But if you put the ball in her court and give her the ability and a safe place to tell you what she's needing, she will every time. Okay. Um, let's see, servant mentality, the ask the questions. What else did I do to deal with the emotions? Oh, you know what? I'm gonna contradict Sensei Jon just a little bit. Okay. He said to be always present, this, that, and the other. I'm going to say you need to make a little bit of time for yourself right now as well. Okay. You need to find time to reset your mind, recharge yourself. Okay, even if that is, hey, I'm gonna go take an hour. I need an hour to go blow some steam. Okay, set you a damn timer though. Okay, don't get lost. Don't go over. But find a way to blow off some steam to reset, because if you're fresh in your mind for your wife, you're gonna be more present and in the moment to be able to help her. If you go haywire, you're not gonna be of any use to her whatsoever. Okay, um, and yeah, that's kind of the things that I have right there.
Okay.
What other
Little tidbits of information we can give.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
Okay.
hopefully like close with is like what information would you give?
Okay. Other thing is communicate. Don't. This is not a mind. Don't try to read each other's mind. Communicate. Like literally check in with her regularly. How are you feeling, right? But also on yours point, always, always share how you're doing too. So it's a communication. It is a back and forth, right? Because you're in this together, right? So communication, they say communicate like a team, right? You want to make sure that, just like we said, take a little bit of everything we're saying and like put it together and make it like your way, right? But ensure that yes, you guys are communicating, and whatever that looks like, you need to work on what they say, emotional intelligence, right? And part of working on emotional intelligence is going to also help you not take things personally, because emotionally, she said something and she snapped at you, and you're gonna want to snap back. But if you work on your emotional intelligence, you understand what's going on here, and you know how to. You're not even muzzling yourself. You're not even holding yourself back. You're understanding what the situation is, and you're not taking it personally. But you do see something is going on. So communicating, two-way street. Asking her how she's doing is definitely, and then of course share how you're doing as well. Because if you're struggling, just like what Njord said, and I thought that was a very big point that he brought up, was, share with each other, right? Don't get it to where, oh, I need to blow off some steam. I need an hour. It should never come across like that. It should be scheduled. Like,
Hmm.
hey, this is gonna be my time, so that so I can be 100% recharged for you. So it's like they say you can't pour
Hey,
from an empty cup, right? You can't pour from an empty cup, right? So you got to rest. You got to talk to someone too. Like, again, what you're doing here, you got some guys here that want to help you with this. Talk to somebody, make sure you're right.
yeah, get a
Handle the
therapist.
stress. Handle your stress, and let her know. Both you guys know, communicate with each other. It is a stressful time for both of you. Let her know that you need to be able to handle your stress so that you could be present, just like Sensei Jon said. And again, that's that kind of, both of you guys are saying it, right? Be
Yeah.
present. Yes, we want you to be present, but you got to be fully charged present. 80%
Hmm.
present. You'll never be 100. Let's be 100% about that.
Right.
I want you at least 75, 80% present. And the way you do that is by communicating with her and taking time for yourself to recharge, right? Um, let's see. I think.
And in that communication,
Go ahead.
let her know, like, hey, man, all I got right now is 50%.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You come home tired, and that
Your
will help
bosses
her
worked you
understand.
hard,
Yeah, it might help her understand. Okay, well, with your 50 and my 50, we can make 100, or
Hmm.
she may have 30, you may have 70, and so communicate that. Be understanding of each other's needs. Um, and like I was saying, I know I kind of chimed in, but if you can get some therapy, some time, get you some therapy too, man.
Weird.
Talk to a professional. That's what they get paid for, man.
Right.
If your insurance pay for it, let them pay for it.
Right.
But
I know your insurance
get that,
pays for it.
Yeah. There you go. See? Boom. Go ahead. Don't be ashamed. Don't be misled about therapy and what it brings. It brings joy and happiness to your house. And then after y'all have the baby, both of y'all
Keep
go to
going.
therapy.
He
Yes.
said, keep going, right.
Invite her, to come sit down with y'all, because postpartum is real. Not saying that your wife may have it, but it's common. So, be mindful of that, and you still gonna have to continue to have that empathetic heart, even after, because sometimes it can get a little worse. Because she can't understand what's going on with her body, and understand, her hormones and things of that nature. Not saying it's gonna happen. It doesn't happen to everyone, We're just giving you little tidbits on what can or what you may expect.
Right. You know, one thing that men do and dads do is we plan for the worst and we hope for the best.
Yep.
And if you
Yeah.
plan for it, you know what I'm saying. Again, not saying that she will, but you plan for it. If it doesn't happen, great. But if it does, it's something that you know you guys have a roadmap to attack, right? Or to
And
to
trust
navigate.
me, trust me. If you tidbits and you work them, I'm gonna tell you, your wife is gonna love you to death. She already do because she said I do, but I'm just saying, it's gonna be even more of a joy because she's gonna talk about you to her girlfriends about how great her pregnancy was, and how important you are to this family and how helpful you are.
Right. Right. And
Give you a
like I
bunch
said,
of brownie points, man.
as men, we provide. Like that's our thing, right? Just like what Njord said, we don't nurture, right? Right? We fix shit. We provide. We do those things, and keep that in mind as well, because that's still gonna be there. But you have to just shift the mentality a little bit, and the priority would be what am I. I think Njord had talked about it many podcasts ago, where he had said when he first got to the job, he's like, I'm a company man, right? And then when he had, baby Freya, he had to switch his priority and be like, well, I'm a company man when I'm here, but my priority is to be home
Yeah,
with my family and
that's
my
real.
daughter. So you know what I'm saying? So it doesn't change your role as a man or as a father, or I mean, it changes your role as a man to a father. Let me correct myself in saying that, but the priority just shifts, right? You're still
Yep.
gonna be all the things that you know potentially what you have in your mind you should be as a man, but now you have to be a dad. You have to be a father. So you know.
Yeah.
So we had actually just talked about this, Camden and I, yesterday, or no, it was Thursday, and I was telling him he was listening to it, and actually that episode came up where I pretty much sat here and I looked at my current company, the hiring people, and I was like, look, if you would have gotten me 5 years ago, I'd eat, breathe, and sleep this place, but you didn't. And now I got a kid, and you guys now are not my priority. So I'm not going to be volunteering to take extra time away from my family. But what I told him also, and I think your wife needs to hear this, is when it's time to clock into work, you need to be at work, man. Like you need your head needs to be in it. That way, when you are passing up on those additional things, it's not going to look bad upon by your work. Because guess what? You still have to have that job in order to provide for your family. Okay. So yeah, go ahead, Krinlee.
I was gonna say to add to that, like you want your head to be in it when you're at work because you want to make it home at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like you have
Yeah.
another reason to make it home at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Safety.
And
I know what you do for work, and it's dangerous.
yeah, and I would add to that too. Not all money is good money. So you want to make sure that you take that time for yourself, because you're going to have to be 100 at work. You're going to expect to be 100 at work. You're going to expect to be 100 at the house. So understand that's also going to come with that package of I still need time for myself, because you are
Now,
doing other.
I'm gonna let you know. Like, you will get the argument. I'm be honest with you. You will get the argument. When do I get time for myself? Okay.
Because she's
Because the argument
breastfeeding, because she's
is
doing,
her body is still doing
she's
all the
got
work.
yeah.
And
Trust me.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm right. You're right. It's not fair. But this is what I
Nope.
need so I can be there for you. Okay.
Or
That's
just work it out when she go to sleep, man. Just go in there and get your little time in.
find
Try and
something.
figure it out.
Find something that works for y'all. Right.
Yeah.
And
Let's see.
I don't know where you the way I took that, and just to kind of if we're playing devil's advocate, whatever. But she does deserve time by herself. But you might not be able to get that till years later, because she may be really attached to the child. So you want to just make whatever, again, just like what Njord said, whatever that looks
Yeah.
like. But when she's ready,
Whatever that is.
that
But if she say take this baby,
Right, right. And when she's ready
You take the baby.
have the time, make sure you understand as you need the time, she needs the time too. And I don't know, does his wife work, or is she stay at home mom?
Yes, she is a teacher.
Okay,
She's a
so
teacher.
yeah,
Yeah.
that adds that extra thing too because she's gonna be at work too. So yeah,
Hmm.
just like what Njord said, understand both of you need that time, and it's gonna be rough. And that's when we say don't take it personal, but take it seriously.
Yeah.
Communicate. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, if
One
you're
more
the
thing.
breadwinner,
And
Oh,
oh, go ahead.
and time for her might look like you guys sitting on the couch and you rubbing her feet, bud. Like that's what time for her might look like. Okay, it
Absolutely.
might not be just away from everybody. Okay, so if you're getting your time, you need to make sure she gets her time somehow, whatever
right.
that looks like. Um,
Yeah. Figure that out.
Krinlee,
Communicate.
do you have any other tidbits that you or things
I
that
got
you?
I got a couple. One of them was if you haven't developed the skill already, go ahead, and that's learning how to read the room. Because you might come home from work one day, you just walk into the door, and then she just got this look on her face, or the baby's in a mess or something, drawing on the wall. I mean, it's not something that's good just now. Like it'll be good forever with a kid. Sometimes she doesn't look stressed, but you come home and she's like ready to pop her top, but she holds it in good. So learn how to read the room. Like just notice little things, not just about her, but just in general, because it might be something easily overlooked. And also, like this is bonding time for you and her, like super bonding time, because I mean y'all made a baby together. She needs your support. You're gonna need her support with this child, emotionally as well as you duty wise. But yeah, bond all you can right now. Yeah, that was the
I got,
two I wanted to add to it.
Okay,
I got one
um,
more.
go for it, bud.
So I had two different
Situations.
pregnancy. Well, my wife, yeah, situation. So with my daughter, the world was right. I took my FMLA, took the first 2 weeks off, and then I went back to work. And then I took sparingly the days off. Okay, so you take this however you want it. I'm just giving you what happened with me. My second child, my son, was born during COVID. I took 4 months off. The bonding time that I had with my son was way different than I had with my daughter. More time you can spend with them early if you can do it, if they give you the 6 weeks. I'm not saying you got to take the whole 6 weeks at a time. It might be more beneficial. You know what I mean? In the long run, when it comes to the type of relationship you have with your kid. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and I took 6 weeks off from my daughter, right?
Good job. Good job.
And that was at a different city, so I don't know what our company does. I told you to look into that, but I took the full 6 weeks, and
That's good.
what my wife and I came up with is at the end of the 6 weeks, that's when my daughter went and moved from the bassinet next to our bed to her nursery. Right, that because but then we built a system that that's another topic that I actually thought for the after dark stuff is what did we do? What tidbits can we give you for baby just got born today for the first couple weeks? Okay,
Yeah, that's gonna be a good one.
right. But leading up to it, man, you keep your head on a swivel. Okay, look at everything. Read the room. Go back and listen to this episode over and over and over again for the next 9 months. Okay, but and ask questions. Right. Um, at the end of the day, you and her are the parents. No one else.
Right.
So y'all need to make the decisions on what you guys do, and you guys need to learn to compromise early. That's the therapy thing. I think is absolutely fantastic. I think you each should go get one yourselves, and then you should get someone for the both of you guys. I'm not saying you guys are having marital problems or anything like that, because
Nope.
you're not. But what this does is, if you guys do go get a counselor now early on, they can give you guys tips and tricks to, if you guys start getting into disagreements, on how to handle that stuff. Um,
Yep.
before it's a problem. And I wish I would have done that
They're
before things were a problem. Yeah.
They're professionals.
Yep.
That's what they get paid for.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. I did want to do a recap on everything. I actually had a list of things, and it's funny that organically we did hit everything that was on that list. Um, but as we, so, just to get to the end of the show here, again, I did have a list, the main thing, and I'll just go down the list that I had. And again, kind of you guys did it, you know what I'm saying? And it was great. So the first thing was, again, don't take it personally, take it serious, right? You just ride that wave, right? That'd be one of the things, right? Show up for the small stuff, right? Everybody kind of talked about that. The foot rubs, the snack runs. Don't forget, nobody said anything about snacks and food yet, but, be there for, again, the small things, and I'm talking about small things, right? The snack runs, helping around the house, they talked about that. The guys talked about that. Going to appointments. I get it. You know what I'm saying? You got to work. But like what Njord said, the ones he couldn't get to, he was at least present by cell phone, right? That's the good thing about, technology, right?
Well, and I already told him that, by all means, I'll let him go get on the phone for that 30 minutes to be in there with the doctor, right? So you've got that.
Little things add up to big things. So again, show up for all the small stuff, right? I talked about communication, and everybody talked about communication, right? Asking questions, right? Communicating, though. Let's throw that out there. Communicating like a team. You guys are in this together. So make sure that the communication is not always about her. And I think Krinlee had talked about that, right? Not always about being empathetic, and it's not being contradictory to what Sensei said, but it is also about you as well, because this is your journey as well. So keep that in mind. You hit it on, everybody hit it on early. Learn a bit about pregnancy, right? Google the basics, use the apps, right? Know the stages, right? It helps keep you stay connected and makes you more helpful, right? So a little bit of, you don't got to go deep dive, right? You could just, this is where we're at. This is what I need. This is the basics, and I'm going to learn to ride the wave, right? Krinlee talked about it. Flexibility is key, right? Cravings change. What she likes now, we may not like what she likes 20 minutes from now, right? Plans change. One thing as well you're going to have to learn, right, is her energy will be up and down. And you guys had plans to go out to dinner. Don't be upset about adjusting the plan. We went from going out to dinner to doing takeout, right? Just roll with it. Make sure, that's where you're at with that. Be ready to be flexible, right? I know Sensei said it, he kind of kept it a little low key, but don't forget about the relationship, right? Still flirt with her, still joke with her, still do date nights. And even if date nights is Netflix and takeout, right? But make that time to say, hey, this is still us, right? If you haven't got
romance, baby.
Yeah. If you haven't got it yet, the theme should be, we're in this together, right? What you guys got?
One thing that was told to me that I want to get out here, okay? And this is going to sound really bad, but you'll understand what I mean when I say it, okay? Your baby cannot survive without you guys, okay? Period. Without its parents, it dies, okay? You guys can survive without each other. But guess what? That baby needs both of you guys. So keep that relationship going. Date her, court her, keep that marriage alive, so you guys are good, so you guys can be there for your child.
Right. Krinlee, did you want to add to that? Because when I brought that up, looks like you had a point you want to add.
Yeah, this is going to be a little bit on a different side here of things, but I mean, she's already pregnant. Get your practice in while you can.
Yeah, there you go. I was waiting for somebody to say it.
I mean, for real though.
They wanted to be me. I was thinking it for sure.
Because you're going to want another one.
Right. Okay, I love it. I love it. Okay. The next point, check it on yourself too. Just like I said earlier, you can't pour from an empty cup. Take your rest. Talk to somebody. They talked about therapy. That's a big one. If you have it, you have access to it. Why not use the resource, right? Handle your stress so that you could be fully present when you need to be. All right. And the final word that I got on this is understand that pregnancy is 9 months, bro. Pregnancy is a season. It's not forever.
10 months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, but it's not.
Let's get it right.
forever.
We don't want no backlash. 10 months.
Right, 10 months. Okay, be present. Right, be there. Be kind. Whatever that looks like. Empathy, understanding. And last but not least, bring snacks. I can't emphasize that the most. Whatever she likes, if it's bananas and pickles or ice cream and hot sauce, I don't know. It's going to be weird. Bring the snacks. All right?
Don't
Everywhere.
you dare go nowhere without asking. You want something?
Oh, absolutely. And buy two.
Buy
Yes.
two.
Yeah, get two
Use
snacks.
use
Get
your
two.
common sense, because even if you
And
don't want it,
both those two are for her. So if you want one, get three.
Right.
Right. Okay. That's all
right.
I got. Are we gonna do this little quick next topic as after dark, or we just want to? I mean,
Yep.
Or do we?
Or no, if you want to do it,
we just want to extend this
here?
episode out. Maybe 10, 15 more minutes or whatever, and just kind of throw that stuff in there because we ran kind of late. So
I'm game for doing it.
What was the other
for free?
stuff?
What to do right after.
Baby's here today.
Yeah, the
Baby's here today for
Yeah.
the next the next couple of weeks, like tips and tricks and stuff.
Okay.
Y'all
Yes,
gonna have to
I've got
excuse
one
me.
right off the bat.
I don't want to put that behind a paywall. So
Okay.
So
Okay.
Hey.
so before we move into After Dark or before we move into the extended episodes, I just want to make sure, again, Camden, this was for you. This was a great topic. I had a great time doing it. Again, the final word, be there, bro. And congratulations. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Congratulations to you and your
Yes.
beautiful wife. Like I said, you give them the horns. And, do we need to take a quick break, though? I mean, I could just... Y'all good?
I need to use the bathroom real quick.
Okay, so do
Well,
it,
I can.
Sensei, and then we'll let we'll start off with
Njord.
Njord, yeah. Mom, dad brain. All right, Njord, what you got? Okay, so what are we talking about next? What's next on the agenda?
So baby is here today. Like boom, baby's here,
Okay.
breathing this air. Okay. The next couple weeks, like the tips and tricks that we have. While you are staying in the hospital, this is the biggest one that was given to me. Okay, and I love it. I had to fight my wife tooth and nail for it. Okay, but she finally agreed. Let that baby stay in the nursery while you're still staying in that hospital. Okay, let that baby stay in the nursery. That way, mama can sleep and you can sleep, because that's the last 2 nights of sleep you guys are going to be getting for a long time. Okay,
We didn't get that option.
we did in Tennessee at least, and I was told that by someone from California. So maybe it was just a North Carolina thing. They didn't do it, but it was a hard fight to have with my wife. She did not want to do it. They hear the horror stories of kids going missing. Right? Again, that's what they are, horror stories. Okay, but I'm telling you, the second or third night when you're back at home, it's going to be the roughest night of your life. Okay, and the reason why is that baby has been inside this nice, warm, protected, dark space for 10 months, right? And now all of a sudden it's in this bright, cold, uncomfortable world all of a sudden, and it's not happy for nothing. Okay. Um, it it was that the first night home from the hospital, because we had to stay 3 nights in the hospital. So the first night that we were home was the worst night of my life. It, I love my daughter to death. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm getting. But you don't know what you're doing. Okay. Um, Again, for your first kid, you've got no clue what to expect at all. Right? Someone can try to tell you, but it doesn't do it justice. Um, it's scary. The the number one thing that our pediatrician told us the morning we were getting ready to leave home, that I still say today, is remember, they do this in caves. Okay. um they did this in caves, they do this in caves, right? You got this. It's not rocket science, truly. um and then create a schedule with your wife. Okay. And what I mean by a schedule is, when I went back to work, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, from midnight to me leaving, I was in charge of getting up with the kid, right? Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, from 8 p.m. to midnight, she was getting up with the kid. And then on the opposite nights, we would switch. That way, one parent is still getting sleep, okay, for a portion of it. Again, you guys are there for you guys are now serving your child. You're not serving each other, you're serving your child, except you got to serve your wife still too. Okay. um so create that schedule, and remember that they do this in caves. Literally, that's the best thing that I ever heard. They do this in caves.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got, Sean?
Man, okay, so
Hey, I thought he was gonna say they pop him upside the head and drag him in the cave. You know how they do.
the caveman court.
That's how they got.
Okay, so we're going along that vein. I mean, I kind of gotta hit it with the babies here. My wife did not know. As soon as we had that baby, the baby ain't leaving her sight. But she got sleep. The baby slept. On that note, though, depending on which way that goes and however you compromise with your wife, if the baby sleeps, your wife should be sleeping too. Or again, if you're the one watching the baby, if the baby's sleeping, you should potentially be sleeping too. As far as like the sleep goes, because the baby sleep. I'm gonna go do this, no, bro. Fuck the house. Don't clean up shit. You know what I'm saying? Just you're gonna need that rest. If the baby is knocked out, bro, make sure the baby's secure. I will say one thing, if you can, put the baby in the bassinet or wherever they normally sleep. Don't fall asleep with the baby on your chest. You don't want her to roll off or anything like that. But if the baby sleep, you sleep too. That's going to be my main thing. We're going along that vein.
The chores will be there later.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if you solo bolo. And you most likely won't be. My wife, she look at me sideways every time I'm alone with the kids, because, she love her babies, I mean, our situation is different as well. My wife is a stay-at-home mom. So, we're blessed to be able to have that situation in our household. But yeah, I mean, that'd be the main thing. If the baby sleep, you should be asleep, or the baby sleep, she should be asleep, vice versa, whatever the case is. Going into the dad part, though, be ready, right? I mean, I can't emphasize it. For yourself, one of the things, Njord had, the first thing that popped in my head when Njord was like, oh, the baby's in a warm space, blah, 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 blah. And then now, boom, right? Learn how to swaddle a baby.
Yes.
Yeah.
So go get, a little baby doll or whatever, and now learn how to swaddle the baby. So learn how to wrap that little burrito and,
tight.
Yes. So they'll roll away on you. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So learn how to properly swaddle the baby. Prep yourself for stuff like that. Bottles. If you guys are gonna breastfeed, make sure you guys get the equipment for that. If that's what you're gonna do, I can't provide any services that are relevant now, but before you could rent the equipment, you don't have to necessarily buy it. Just check in with your
Mhm.
medical insurance and see what they do.
Well, they just give it to you now.
Oh, do they? Okay.
You don't even never have to
we're in
return it.
Well,
California.
as
and,
of 3 years ago, in Tennessee, we still had to. They gave you one, but it wasn't that great quality. If you wanted the good one, you had to go rent it.
yeah. So,
Oh, well, yeah. You know what? That's true.
yeah. So again,
Yeah, they give you the little.
yeah, be ready for that. Figure out what
That
you
works.
guys want to do if you are but be ready for that. So get the number one, get the bottles. If you do, if you're gonna breastfeed and she works, understand how that works. And I'm not gonna go into details with it, but be ready for that. Be ready with if you're gonna Similac or Enfamil or whatever. If you're gonna go that route, make sure you
Nature's
do
choice.
your do your research with bottles. You know, and
Formula.
don't wait until the last couple weeks, right? The last month to try to start doing your research with that. And that's the fun part too. We start to get looking into the bottles or baby monitors or things like that. But be ready for the essentials that the baby's gonna need. And that's what I'm saying bottles because they have to eat, they have to drink, they have to stay warm. How you're gonna bathe them. Get yourself a little. We use the little thing that went into the sink. It's like a little baby bath that goes into the sink. So for sure, if the baby's there, those are some of the main things. And one of the main things that I've actually read that parents forget is how do you get the kid home? So have your car. That's what I'm saying. Have your car seat ready. A lot of it, and make sure you know how to. If it's connecting, make sure you know how to properly put the base in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that
Hey,
Get it checked out
hold
by
on.
the. Go get
Hold
it
on.
checked.
If
Hey,
you
go get
can't
it checked
get
out
it,
by the.
go to the fire department.
Oh yeah,
Go to the fire department.
yeah. The fire
Yeah,
department
that's
will
what I was
help
gonna
you.
say.
Yeah,
For
but
free.
But a lot of, we'll forget that. Oh, we got the go bag, we got this, and we got this. Or we're at the hospital, and then you pull up, and you're like, damn it, the car seat's at the house. You know what I'm saying? So make sure
Don't be one of those.
Yeah, make sure you got your little checklist, and part of that checklist is how you're gonna get the baby home. And obviously, the hospital's not gonna let you leave unless you have a car seat. So
No, they won't.
There'll be that as well. So again. They're gonna ask. So those will be the main things: bottle, swaddle. Prepare, learn how to swaddle, the baby. Well, however you're gonna do the breastfeeding, or if you're doing the Similac or the formula, again, make sure you're ready for that and that car seat. Make sure you have that car seat ready to bring that baby home. So that's what I got.
How about you, Sensei?
Make sure you have. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah,
What do you think? Make sure you got.
I was gonna say, and make sure you keep that empathy for your wife too, because as your baby grows, it's gonna if she breastfeeds, eventually it's not gonna breastfeed anymore, and that's gonna probably kill her more than it is the baby.
Right.
But
Because-
breastfeeding is
could
also going to kill
possibly.
her at the same time.
Well,
Learn to ride the wave, Camden. Learn to ride the wave.
Most importantly.
and enjoy it while you can.
Yeah.
Because it's
Good
hard
fast.
when they're born, but it gets harder because they grow up and they become assholes. Sorry, but
I mean,
Yeah, it's real.
there's
not
that-
really. But
There's that meme out there that says, what's the best thing about being a parent, right? Is watching your kids grow up. What's the worst thing about being a parent? Watching your kids grow up. So yes, enjoy it. I totally agree with Krinlee said.
Yeah.
Enjoy the chaos.
and because the little things they need you to do now, they won't need you to do one day, and it's gonna it's gonna hurt your feelings. You're gonna be like, dude,
Mhm.
that's my job.
Right.
I'm supposed to do that for you,
Right.
but you gotta let them grow.
Yeah. I used to, just a quick example. My youngest son, right? My 8-year-old now. I used to tell him bedtime stories that used to base around monster trucks. He loves monster trucks. So I would, El Toro Loco owns a taco truck, and Gravedigger owns a tire shop, and they're interact. I'd make up these stories, and one day he didn't want them anymore. He wanted to look at pictures on my phone and memories and things like it shifted. But then, it just was one day, Dad tell me a bedtime story about Gravedigger and his friends, and then it was something else. So yeah, one day if it's something like that, yeah. So like I said, I will say this: be be ready to dodge piss if you have a son, because I guarantee
Yes.
you're gonna change a diaper, and your son is gonna want to piss on you. So dodge that shit like the Matrix.
It's like that cold air hits it and it just flows.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So okay. All right, Sensei.
Sensei.
Yeah, so he brought up something that just kind of like triggered a memory. While your baby is growing in your wife's belly, they have these things out there where you can play music. You can put music on her belly, do that. Read to the baby. Once the baby comes, continuously read. Read. My kids look forward to a book every night, and they will not go to sleep without reading. Now, my wife, she handles
3 stories a night.
3 stories. I be having to cut him short, man. We get 3 pages.
She picks out 3 stories.
Yeah. So continuously read. Play the music though. Try that. Supposed to help the kids' brain waves develop, and do some research on it. But I remember
And they
we did it
recognize
for my
your
daughter.
voice when they're born too,
Yeah.
as safety.
So, that's one of the things. But when they're born, enjoy it. Be present. Listen to your wife when she needs some help. When she wants you to take the baby. Hey, sometimes you may just go over there and grab it and grab the baby and be like, you know what, we're gonna go out in the living room. You go ahead and take some time for yourself. Just do that. Even if, when you feel like it. If you feel it, do it. Use your common sense. Like you said, read the room. Make sure you're always I don't want to say playing with the baby, but talk to your baby. Rub him or her down, with the lotion at night. Get connected with the baby. The wife ain't always got to do it. You do it. When if she doing it, be like, hey, can I step in? Can I do it? Things like that. Because she gonna want to be connected with. That's her baby. That's y'all baby, but that's her baby.
Can I interject real quick before I forget my thought about what you said?
Go ahead.
Just like what he said, read the room and talk to your wife, because my wife did not want me to do that. She did not want me to take the baby like that. Oh, I'm just gonna take the baby and come over here. Talk to her, because it caused my wife more stress. Again, our story's a little different, so just make sure you talk to your wife. Read the room. Again, it's great advice. Communicate with her. Hey, can I hold on to the baby or whatever? Because if she's feeling stressed holding the baby, don't just take the baby. Because my wife got even more like, why are you taking the baby? And I'm like, because you look stressed. No. So okay, well, let's sit down. You know what I'm saying? So again, talk to your wife. Make sure, you guys have, some type of system when, hey, you look a little stressed. You mind if I hold the baby for a little bit? Again, it's going back to communicating, and we could say communicate all day. And I'm sure you'll learn, and maybe we'll talk about it more often. But there'll be certain things like you don't know how to communicate. You don't know what to communicate yet, right? Or it's just like when you're learning something, you don't know what questions to ask yet because you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
So
right.
So we say communicate. The main thing is feeling. But yeah. So just I'm sorry. I don't want. But I love your advice, Sensei, about hey, take the baby.
Yeah.
But in my situation, the wife was like, no, don't take the baby. Let's talk about it first, and then let me give you the baby. You know what I'm saying? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking. Okay. All right. Here, hold on to the baby for a little bit or whatever. If you need to stay in her sight, okay, I'm just gonna go sit on the couch with the baby. And drink some water or whatever the case is. Recompose yourself, and then I'll give you the baby right back. But let her give you the baby. Okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Sensei. I'm sorry.
No. I mean, I'm pretty much done, man. Y'all done covered it all, man. Just be mindful. Just be mindful of what you're doing at all times. In your relationship and in your house, man.
Sean said something earlier that made me think of something about the chores. Okay, That the house is going to get dirty every day, no matter how much you clean it. That your kid's going to grow up faster, and then you're not going to get that time back. Okay. But something I wish that I had done, that we had done, my family had done, is for the first couple of weeks, right? I wouldn't have had anyone come over, right? Um, it, if mothers or family wanted to come over, they came over with a purpose, right? It wasn't to hold the baby, right? It was the purpose of we're exhausted trying to becoming new parents and learning what we need to do. Their purpose there was to help clean the house, help do the laundry, help cook some food, all right? Helping around the house instead of touching the baby, because that's y'all's job, right? Um,
Nobody saw
I
my
wish we had
babies
done
for the
that.
first month.
Right, right. So again, parents, if they want to help, let them
Yeah.
help by cleaning the house, doing the things that you guys cannot get to. Okay, because you're rightfully preoccupied.
Yep.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right.
I mean, I think that wraps
Good.
it up.
And
Njord, I
Yeah.
we
want to
can tell
say,
you how, like all day, we can preach communication. We can't tell you how to communicate because that's different for
There
everybody.
you go.
that's
I
it.
like
Yep.
that.
Right.
You got to work on it.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, you do. Okay. I mean, I
And you're
think that
gonna
was
fail.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. If you don't
It's
fail, that
okay
means
though.
you didn't try. You
And
know?
you
Right.
didn't learn.
Right.
Right. It's okay.
Right. And remember, don't move on, move forward. Right. Don't move on like nothing happened. Move forward like you learned from that failure, from that mistake, or whatever the case is.
Yep.
So, okay. I mean, I think that wraps it up for us on our end. Camden, I want to say thank you for talking to Njord, bringing this topic to us, Njord. I think it was a great topic, great point.
And you're
It was requested by
I,
a viewer.
Right.
I don't know if he gonna have. I don't know if he gonna have a I don't know if he gonna do a baby shower or something. But if he do, man, send us something over, man. He got something on that list. I can get him. You know,
Right.
I got you.
from
Yeah.
Amazon
I got
or
you.
whatever.
Right. Okay. All right. So
They're going through babies list, so I got you guys.
okay. Do we let's just kind of end the episode because this is running kind of long. It's running kind of late. All right. So
Yep.
if you guys don't have any more questions, comments, or
No.
emotional
Emotional
outbursts,
outburst.
my name is Sean Flac 2.0
Practice,
in the
practice,
studio live with Mr. Krinlee, NjordGod, and Sensei Jon in the house. We are the Dad's Life Podcast. We want to say thank you for listening to this episode of the Dad's Life Podcast. We hope we'll join you next week or the next recording of the Dad's Life Podcast, where you can get your dad life, dad advice. Peace out.